Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to my non-existent YouTube channel. Today we are going to be building a tabletop for Clem. He's got a patio set with no tabletop. He asked me for his birthday if I could build him a tabletop and have it ready by the party. Party Saturday. It is Thursday. I am short on time, but hopefully this doesn't take me quite as long. My guesstimation on the time of completion for total amount of work, roughly around 4 hours, but we'll see how it goes. The plan for this is to create a circular tabletop. Went and bought some birch wood from Home Depot. It's a three-quarter inch, so we're just gonna cut this up probably about 4 foot, because I think the base of the table has 4 posts that are separated by 2 feet each, so that'd be a good size. The design that I'm gonna use is gonna be kind of neat. One side of it is gonna be a tile, and the other side is going to be stained. Kind of gonna be a reversible table. Also putting an umbrella hole in the middle. This is what I plan on using. Our project I'm working on is actually gonna be called Popeyes. Bought this off of Facebook Marketplace, and I really like it. I think it's gonna be really cool. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut all of these into sheets, like long little strips. Basically, starting from the center hole where the umbrella is gonna go, just start laying towel around it. Stay tuned and check out the finished project and to see if we're able to do it in 4 hours. Let's get started. I don't know if I'm doing this right, but we'll figure it out. All right, so now I just drilled directly in the middle of the piece I wanted, attached a string to it, then tied that string off to a marker to trace out the circle that I wanted. Then I took my jigsaw, just went around and followed that line I made to make a decent circle. And then afterwards, I put that stuff up and placed the table on top of the stand for it and took my palm sander and started going at it. I used 320 to 400 grit sandpaper on this just to get the real rough edges out. Didn't need it to be perfect because of the fact that I'm putting tile over the edging. Yeah, just wanted to get the real rough spots out. And after that, I took my bit to drill my hole, and I think I either used 1 3/4 to a 2-inch hole. I can't exactly remember how big the umbrella hole device or piece was that I put in there. It was pretty snug. I just didn't want too much excess room, but I still wanted a little wiggle room there. I'm gonna be laying these in a circle around here. Initially, I was gonna do a spiral and then cut these at an angle and then start the spiral and just go all around and around and around. I don't feel like cutting anything, so I'm literally just gonna do circles around. Early on, up until we get to probably basically like a pretty big circle, I'm gonna have to cut these individually and then place them.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
I don't like the big gaps in between them. I don't know how they're gonna look. So at this point, I realized the circle design wasn't the greatest idea in that it would take me way too long to do it, and obviously I was short on time and just decided to lay the tile as is, just cut the opening for the umbrella hole and then push forward with it. I changed my mind. I'm going to take the easy way out. It would take a lot of work, and I think the grout lines would drive me crazy when I filled it in, because you're gonna be doing white. I think once I filled it in with white and all those big, huge gaps of grout, I don't think I like that look. So what I'm gonna do is just I'm gonna cover this thing in thin set. I'm gonna let it hang over the side, then I'm gonna take my hand towel cutter and go around and skim the edges. No circular design, we're just laying tile. Once we've got past that and decided that we're just gonna lay the tile, just went ahead and started applying some thin set on there. I tried to use a 1/4-inch trowel. I didn't want too much thin set on there. Obviously I wanted enough for it to adhere, but because of the design of this tile, it does have a lot of grout openings. So if I were to put too much thin set on there, that thin set would come up, which it still did, but you'll see a little bit later on that I just went ahead and cleaned it up with a toothbrush for those parts that did come up, but try to lay it as thin as possible. Also, I'm ensuring that it would adhere without any issue to the wood itself. Right now, just laying everything out there, making sure it's nice and level, flush, rolled it out to get as many as the other pieces that were kind of off. All right, guys, we're gonna call it quits for tonight, just because the Gators are about to play their Sweet 16 game. As you can see, turned out pretty nice. I know I didn't do the circular design that I wanted to, but that would have taken forever, and I don't know if it would have came out looking the way I wanted it to. So only thing we got left tomorrow is to take our tile cutter, trim the edges, then we still got to do the edge piece of tile, and then we just got to stain it. Welcome back for part 2. So we took a little break yesterday to watch the Gators play. Shout out Gators. They went up against a tough Maryland team, caught a dub, so now they're on to the Elite 8. Pretty good game, pretty entertaining, pretty close for the most part until the Gators just ran away with it at the end. Derek Queen from Maryland, that guy's gonna be a baller. He's a dog. Ultimately, the Gators were just too good. Enough of the sports recap, back to the table. So we got about 2.5 hours of work done yesterday, but it's looking pretty good. All we gotta do to finish up is my hand tile cutter, go around the edges and just trim all these loose pieces. Once I'm done with that, I'm gonna flip the table over and then do the edging. I'm putting tile on the edging as well. And once that's done, clean up any debris, any scuffs, sand it down a little bit, maybe. Probably take a break for a few hours, let that all that stuff dry up. And then once it's dry, flip it back over. We'll go ahead and grout everything and be done with it. Let's get to it. For the fun stuff, I went ahead and used painter's tape to mask out the edges along the edging tile that I was going to cut. I tried to get it as perfect as possible, and then I put an extra layer around it just to keep it down. The purpose of this is, for me, it was just to ensure that as I was going around cutting the tile, the other, the pieces that I wanted to keep on the table didn't crack or break. And we kind of just protect the tile from the saw itself as I was going around. It did that. It worked pretty well, so that ended up working out. Put the table back on the board just to have a ledge to lay the side pieces on. Laying out more thin set, I just went around with those strips of tile and just dabbed it on the thin set itself. Made sure I got enough on there so that it would adhere properly and not fall off. Ended up putting a good amount on there. I had to scrub a lot of it out, but I just wanted to make sure that there was, more than less so that it wouldn't come out. But here, as you can see, going ahead and removing all the excess thin set so that it doesn't come through, because this is a gray thin set. All right, guys, we are back to finish up the table. It's been a few hours since the last time you saw me. I think we stopped about 4 or 5 hours ago just to give the rest of the tile enough time to dry off. Hopefully it's dry enough, but we are running short of time. Gotta get it done. I'm gonna go ahead and grout everything, but at the same time, since we are short on time, I decided that we're gonna grout and stain at the same time. I've got the stick. After I grout most of the top, I'm gonna put the stick through it, and then we're gonna wedge it in between 2 chairs so that I can finish grouting and also do the edges pretty easily and stain. I hope this stick is strong enough to hold the weight of the table. Also, I was gonna go with white grout, really pure white, but being that this is going to be a patio table, it's going to be outdoors, I'm sure it'd get dirty really easily, so I decided to go ahead and go with this bone color. I don't know if you can see that too well, but it's like an off-white tan looking color. It's still light, and I think it still would go well with the colors of the tiles. See how it turns out. Hopefully it looks good. Let's get to it. The grout, as you can see here, that I'm using is a tan color grout. Just went ahead and applied that grout, just like a nice tan color to offset the bright colors here. And in order to get the edges of the grout on there real nice, went ahead and made this little makeshift wheel for it in order to add the grout, but also apply the sealant as well. I didn't stain it, I just put sealant on it, like a floor sealer. It turned out really nice, as you can tell. Table is now complete. What are your thoughts?
It's beautiful. Reminds me of Popeyes.
Our piece is called Popeyes because this is a towel they use at Popeyes restaurant. What do you rate it?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.